Alrighty students, a huge welcome to this week's topic, which is all about multiplication and the bigger numbers of multiplication. A lot of things to have a look at here in the curriculum, but first let's have a look at our learning intention. What we're learning today is just to multiply two-digit numbers by one-digit numbers mentally and in written form. So with that in mind, we are looking at those bigger numbers. Hopefully your multiplications with the smallers are great, and we'll use that knowledge to create some excellent multiplication with bigger numbers. Of course, as always, by the end of this video, I'm looking for you to show me your learning by answering the attached questions. Now, when it comes to multiplication, this is the area of the curriculum that I'm looking at. For a C grade, you're able to solve simple problems involving 4 operations using the range of strategies, mental and written, and again, being able to check your answer is my C grade, and that's what we're looking at today. The 4 operations, of course, multiplication, division, subtraction, and addition. Today, of course, we're looking very specifically at multiplication. To be able to multiply in a mental state in your head, actually a couple of things need to happen in your head. I'm actually going to write them down just to kind of show you how my mental brain works to work out this problem here. When I hear 24 multiplied by 5, instead of doing 24 and then counting 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24, what I'd do is I'd separate it out and I'd do 20 multiplied by 5, and I'd also do 4 multiplied by 5. So I know very quickly that 20 multiplied by 5 is 100, and 4 multiplied by 5 is 20, and I'd just add those two together. So I'd do 100 plus, and this is all in my head, plus 20, and that would be 120. I would recommend using that strategy when it comes to multiplying and mentally having a go at multiplying in your head. And that's the same when it comes to massive equations like 96 multiplied by 6. I would do 90 in my head, try and do 90 multiplied by 6 and also 6 multiplied by 6. My mind's working in overdrive here because I've got my 90 multiplied by 6. So what I would do is pretend that this is 9 multiplied by 6 and then adding that 0 back on to create the 10 once again. So 9 multiplied by 6 is 54. Add that 0 back on because technically it's 6 multiplied by 90, which means it would be 540. And then I'd add 6 multiplied by 6, which would be 36. So 540 plus 36 would be 576. To be honest, doing it mentally is something we can't really assess, but hopefully you'll become a little bit quicker as you start to use your mental multiplication a lot more and breaking down the equations. Today though, in this video, we're going to have a look at the written form to start our multiplication process. So let's start with a nice, lovely one, 44 multiplied by 3. And of course, when you start thinking about breaking that down mentally, you can start to see, look, it's going to be around the 120, 130 mark. How you do this in written form is you actually start with the smaller numbers first and then keep progressing to the bigger numbers. Now, if you were doing the equation 3 multiplied by 4, the answer would simply be 12, right? 1 in the tens column, 2 in the units column. Now, because we've got another multiplication to do, we're actually going to do 3 multiplied by this 40. We're going to just carry this 1 over and remember it later. So instead of doing the 1, 2, we're actually going to put the 1 just below, or sometimes people put it up here, just as a reminder to say later on we're going to add this 1. Technically speaking, it's a 10, but just for the moment, we're going to call it 1. It's in the tens column though, so every time you think about it, it's actually a 10 to add on. All right, we're now on to the next multiplication, which is 3 multiplied by this 4, which is actually 40, but for this purpose, we're just pretending it's 4. So it's 3 multiplied by 4 again, and again, this is 12. Now, again, you could just put the 12 here. There's no more multiplication to go, so it doesn't matter about carrying this 1 over, but it does matter about this extra 1 you've put down here, which actually means this 12 becomes a 13. 12 plus 1 equals 13. And there we have it. Our answer is 132. When it comes to multiplication, this method works every single time. And again, you always start with the smallest first. So now I've got 9 multiplied by 67, and judging by my quick estimation, I'm thinking about 9 multiplied by 60. 9 sixes are 54, so it's probably around 540. Obviously we've got 9 sevens, so I'm reckoning it's around the 600 mark in my estimations, but we're going to do it. Start with the smallest numbers, and again, let's have a look at 9 times 7. Well, it's 63, but remember, the 3 of 63 is the units, so it goes in that units column, and the 6 actually carries over into the tens column, but because we've got another multiplication to go, we're going to make sure we remember that 6 for later, but we're not actually going to put it in as a big number yet, because we're going to add it on at the end. So now it's 9 multiplied by 6. Technically speaking, it's 9 multiplied by 60, but just for this easy multiplication method, we're going to do 9 multiplied by 6, and 9 multiplied by 6 is 54. Now remember, 9 multiplied by 6 is 54. However, we've still got this 6 to add on here. So 54 plus 6, well, absolutely, that's going to be 60. 50 plus 6 is 60. So in actual fact, it's going to be 603. Now, of course, 6 is in the hundreds column, 0 is in the tens column, and 3 is in the ones column. So the answer is 603. This extra 6, don't need to worry about it. That just stays there as a reminder. Now, hopefully you're getting the routine and we'll practice it in the coming weeks. But let's see if we can go a little bit further with this and do a 2-digit number multiplied by a 2-digit number. We're going to do 29 multiplied by 18. Okay, now with this, it's exactly the same process, but because there's an extra number in this tens column for the second number, there's a little bit of a change towards the end. All right, so let's have a quick think about estimation here. Goodness, it's going to be tricky, but I can see that this is nearly 30 and this is nearly 20. So 20 multiplied by 30 is around 600. So I'm expecting this to be around the 600 mark, and I'll show you why very shortly. First of all, let's do 9 multiplied by 8 because that's the smallest numbers going together. 9 multiplied by 8 is 72, which means the 2 of 72 goes in the ones column, and the 7 gets carried over into the tens column because it's 7 tens. That's going to be added on later to our tens column multiplication. Now we're doing 8 multiplied by 2 tens. And 8 multiplied by 2 tens is going to be 16 tens. Now remember, 16 tens added on to 7 tens because we've got this 7 10 to add on. 16 tens multiplied by 7 tens is going to be a wonderful 230 tens, or 232 is the total for that. Now, remember that this is just an addition, that's 7, so we're going to make sure that that rubs out and we'll go again. Now, for the next number, in 18, we're going to start in the tens column because it actually is a 10. Now, to remind us that we're starting in the tens column, we're going to put a 0 just here to remind us that when we put our first answer in, it's going to start in the tens column because it's actually in the tens column already. If we're in the ones, we start in the ones. If we're in the tens, we start in the tens, and we put it underneath with a 0 here to remind us that we're starting in the tens column. All right, so let's do it again. We're going to do 110 multiplied by 9. 110 multiplied by 9 is going to be 9 tens because 1 multiplied by 9 is 9. All right, now we're going to carry over. Well, we don't need to carry over anything because 9 doesn't have anything going on in the next column. So 9 sits there and we move on. 110 multiplied by 2 tens is our next decision to make, and 1 multiplied by 2 is going to be 2. So we're going to put that just here. All right, let's have a think about what the answer is going to be now. And the way we do that is add all of these numbers up together. So a nice addition to have a look at is these columns. Make sure you're adding the columns up as we go. So 2 plus 0 is going to be 2. 3 plus 9 is going to be 12. So we're going to put a 2 there and a 1 just to carry over. So I'm going to add the 1 plus the 2 plus the 2. This is in the hundreds column, so it's 100 plus 200 plus 200. So it's going to be 522. Not as close to 600 as I expected, because both of these numbers are way below the numbers I estimated. So it's not 20, it's 18, it's not 30, it's 29. But I can tell you the answer is 522. Now, if that doesn't make sense, that's the whole point of doing these sort of tests and these check-ins, to see if you can get the concept quickly. And if you can't, no dramas. Have a go at the questions next door and see how you go. They range in difficulty from 1 to 5, and hopefully by the 5th one, you're getting used to those concepts. No pressure, but see how you go. Here it is. No, that's not right.